In case you haven't met me and I didn't yell at you in hallway supervision time. So I'm going to tell you like two things about me, just because that kind of makes sense. I was born in Moscow, but I'm not like really Russian. I'm half Armenian. That's a country. Half Armenian and half Russian. But I grew up in Moscow. That's not really Russia, but just like New York is not United States. And I was kicked out of Russia for political activity. I came here as a political refugee for protesting against for human rights. So, long story. So, but I'm here, and here to talk to you about Russian food. First of all, how many of your parents cook at home? Do your parents cook? Like actually make food? I see, like, you know, the Russian women cook. And that's the main difference between American people of white persuasion and everybody else, the minorities in this country. Because most American white mothers do not cook. They just go buy stuff or like mix something up and like everybody goes to their room and eats there. So this is not how we do in Russia. So Russian women cook. They literally cook breakfast, they cook lunch, and they cook midday snack for you, and they cook dinner. And everybody has to sit together and like actually interact, not while on the phone. And so, right, darling? And I eat the phones too, like I have magic powers. And so, like, you know, like breakfast. So what do Russian people eat for breakfast? Nothing what you suggest would possibly consider eating for breakfast. Because you know what? It's cold in Russia. Did you know that? It's cold in Russia, and in order to be able to function and warm up, you have to eat warm food. So warm food is not cereal. Soup? That's a little overboard, that's a little creepy, but some people do maybe. So, but no, like they eat hot cereal, right? So mostly like cream of wheat. Do you know cream of wheat?
Like oatmeal.
You eat like oatmeal, but not oatmeal like some of you. I saw people like doing oatmeal mixed with water. That's disgusting. Like that's like eating live frog. I'm sorry. Don't try that. So, but anyway, so like oatmeal with milk, rice, like rice pudding, kind of like thing. But it's all warm because you have to eat warm food. So no orange juice. That's American thing. So it's ridiculous. So Russian children don't get orange juice. So and then they drink tea, right? Drink tea or some kind of like sweetened stuff like with the carbs, because they think that sugar is important for your brain development. So anyway, it's not. It's a lie. So like anyway, so hot cereal, which is called kasha, and then eggs, and then eggs not the way you people eat eggs, but that's usually either half soft-boiled eggs. Do you eat soft-boiled eggs? No. And even worse, like slightly boiled eggs. So if you take the egg and boil it for like 1, 2, 3, 4, 20 seconds and take it out, so like the white of the egg is barely white. It's kind of like looks like a frog that is live, covered with slime. And so you just eat it like with a spoon, right? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Right, so this is like almost like not cooked eggs, so they're slightly cooked, like barely cooked. So yolk is completely liquid, and the white is almost liquid. Some people like it like this. You always have bread. They always have bread, and you always have bread covered like with butter on top of it. Not margarine, not like anything. Has to be a real butter, not almost like I believe it's butter. So that's like normal people, like with mothers who care. And so people who have mothers who don't care that much, so get to eat a bread with butter, with a slice of cheese on top of it, and it's always open face. You would call it sandwich, but there's no second part of bread. So it's just one slice of bread, butter, cheese on it, or salami on it, or something else on it. So most popular thing, you don't put like cheese and the salami together, or cheese and like you have this girl's name. It's called bologna. Bologna. So they have like slices of bologna, right? And then some people do not like eat lunches at school, so the nice mother will pack you this open face sandwich in a non-Ziploc bag, because Ziploc bags do not exist in Russia, or maybe they do, but I've never seen. So like they wrap it up, and then in a plastic bag, and like put another apple. That's going to be your lunch, because people don't like eating lunch at home, at school. So like you eat breakfast. Let's see. Small children drink milk, which is disgusting. I personally will never drink milk. So like now some children have yogurt, because yogurt is sold. But it's in a big city, so if you live in a country in the boonies outside of Moscow, something like Kansas-like situation, you're not going to be eating yogurt or like anything else. But my brother is rich. So I was watching what his son eats for breakfast. All of the above, plus sometimes cereal, but cereal he don't put milk on top of cereal. It just mix them into yogurt. That's the only thing that's similar to what you guys would eat. Now, breakfast. We're still like on breakfast. When I came to this country, I watched a movie that is called Overboard. Have you seen this movie? It's a comedy with the Goldie Hawn. Do you know what I'm talking about? So there's a Goldie Hawn, was a rich, like not a very nice person, and she was washed off the rich people boat and was picked up by some carpenter with who was poor supposedly, with 3 kids, and she lost her memory. And then like they show how like she's making breakfast for them, or like something to take home for lunch. And I'm thinking, oh my God, she wants to kill these children. What is she doing? She doesn't know how to cook. What she was making is peanut butter sandwiches, peanut butter jelly sandwiches. Like there is no peanut butter in Russia. There is no peanut butter jelly sandwich. I honestly tried, as a person from another country, to eat a peanut butter jelly sandwich. I was slightly terrified, because I did according to the instruction provided to me. So I put peanut butter, and then jelly, and then another piece of bread, and I tried to swallow it. It got stuck in my throat, and I thought like, this is how you reduce the population in the United States. Like too many people here, too many children, so maybe they'll just die by themselves. I'm sorry, like it's really weird. If you go to Russia, do not expect that you're going to find take it from home, peanut butter. Jelly you can find, but like peanut butter jelly doesn't exist. Moving on. So, you go to school, not like you people, like 7:20 or 7:40 the first class. Then I tell this to people in other countries, they think I'm just kidding, because I'm funny like this. Everything I say is a joke, apparently. So, the school doesn't start until 8:30. That's a reasonable time, right?
Yes.
And so, a reasonable time, and then you go, and then you have half an hour break for carbs. And so, you go to cafeteria, and they sell you like little rolls. Like, muffins would be the closest thing that comes. Like another very popular Russian food that people eat. I see if I can find the picture. It's called like. Do you know what empanadas are? Do you know what empanadas are? So it's basically cooked, baked carbs, and then like it has some kind of filling. So like in Russia we have this thing that falls out of my hands. And it's called like pierogi. So it could be stuffed with anything. It has to be that shape. If it is not the shape, that's not okay. It's just like the recipe I provided you with. So things have to be done just right, in the right shape and form, and it has to be the right color, because if it is not that color, people are not going to eat that. Oh, poof. So like anyway, and it is usually filled with meat, like empanadas. Very popular thing is cabbage with a combination of cooked cabbage with eggs and onions. They're all cooked together. They're inside of this things. And whatever you want to put in it. So these are the most popular. It could be sweet, so you can put apples. So just kind of like a apple turnover, right, in the United States, right? So it's really good. So and you drink it with tea, and you can invite people and just feed them stuff. And this is how people in Russia get fat. And so because they eat a lot of bread, and so delicious. It's just like crack. You start eating it, and you literally cannot stop. Not that I would know, but I read. So like, and then I don't eat carbs. So like, that's why I'm saying, like, I don't eat bread or grains or anything else. So I'm very severely criticized for that. Whenever I visit my family, it's every time very traumatic experience for me and for people around me, because they go like, "How are you alive?" I said, not only alive, but I'm okay. So now we moved, right? So you had the midday snack. Now you have to eat lunch. Lunch doesn't come like you people eat lunch in the middle of the day at 10:30 in the morning, or at 11 or 12. That's too early. The lunch doesn't happen until at least 1 o'clock. Most people would eat lunch at about 2 or 3. For lunch, you always have to have soup. Like if you don't have, especially if you have parents who care, they go like, "What? If you didn't eat soup, you're going to die." How many of you eat soup ever? Oh, good for you. So you see, like in this country, I'm observing my husband, who was born in this country. He like eats God knows what, but then there's a pill for that. You take a pill and then poof, your stomach is so much better, and then you can eat more crap. Sorry. So like anyway, so like Russian mothers, no, like it's very important for you to eat digestive organs, right? Like so, like you eat soup. What is the most famous Russian soup you probably heard?
I've
Never heard of Russian soup. So the most famous Russian soup, don't buy it from the can in the grocery store. That's disgusting. And so disgusting to look, disgusting to even think about it, and just. So it's called borscht, not borscht, it's borscht. Borscht is basically vegetable soup with beets in it. So they have beets. So that's why it looks like blood. I remember when I came here, I was invited to a place where some people from Switzerland were hosting. They said, "Oh, just bring some kind of famous Russian thing." It's like famous Russian thing is borscht, the red soup. Another guy was from Africa. So he was born in Africa. He's studying in the United States. I was serving this borscht, and it's red, and you have to always serve it with sour cream. Sour cream is in lots of things. So here is the sour cream, and he looks at it, and he thinks this is like the blood drained out of children, and he's going to swallow this. And he told, like, these people said, "I can't eat that." This is terrifying. It's terrifying as a thought. And so just be warned. So, like, this is really beets that give the color to the soup, and it tastes like vegetable soup. So that is. So, but the soup, you don't eat just soup. The next, you have to get like a second course. The second course is just like you people eat. Some kind of meat or fish or just the meat part out of the burger with nothing on it, and you always eat with the fork and knife. You don't like, the Russians don't do finger food, so like and you teach the small children like to eat with the fork and knife. By the time they're 5, they should be able to do it. So you don't. My mother would. Child abuse is very common. So no, don't eat with your hands. So not really child abuse, but this is like they yell at you and scream at you and like slap you. So like if you're not listening to it, so you always are a little bit afraid of your parents. And then you always have a dessert. You always have a dessert, and for dessert you eat candy. You can eat like a pie, a cake, chocolate, but it's usually like a slice of some kind of like pastry thing. So with tea, coffee is not very common. Coffee people eat for breakfast, unless they're rich. But rich people we're not talking about because they have their own little ways. And so, and then you have small children, and not very small children, if they have nice caring mother. So for afternoon snack, they're going to have like, some kind of cold cuts. And the nice caring mother wants to provide you with vitamins, so they're going to make a compote. What compote is, it doesn't exist in the United States. Basically, you boil water and add some kind of fruit that is available, and add some sugar, and that is supposed to like have some vitamins. I don't know where the vitamins come from in something that is boiled, but I guess that's the thought. And so, and small children don't usually like drinking tea, right? That's gross. You're not going to serve coffee to small children, so they eat like, the sweetened stuff with fruit in it, floating slightly. And then dinner. You don't eat soup for dinner, you eat the same thing that you ate for lunch, but no soup. So, now what you should, as a human being living in the United States, be aware of. If Russians invite you to their house, be very scared. Because they said like, Matanya, come over for tea. And Matanya comes for tea. And here it goes. Freaking disaster. Like you have to sit down. You can't refuse tea. So you sit down, but it's like, oh, you're hungry. Like, have some pierogi, you have a cake, you have a candy, you have like a little bit of butterbrod, which is open face sandwich. Oh, like you're hungry? Like I go like, no, I'm not hungry. I go like, oh, like, but you have to eat what? Like, and you have to eat, because if you don't eat, they feel offended. So, because you can't just say like offer water. That's extremely, extremely rude. So people come for tea, it means that you're going to have a bunch of stuff with that. And then you breathe for this, and you go like, the tea, I'm dying here, so like I need to digest this for like a couple of days. You go home, digest. And then, God forbid, you get invited to a Russian party. That's the worst. I don't know, like it's almost worse than a Mexican party or Costa Rican party, house party, because there is food. And let's say I invited 4 of you to my house for dinner. Well, it means that like this table, and this table, they all should be covered with the food. And like there should be absolutely no empty space, because if there's an empty space, I'm not hospitable. So, my husband loves this. I hate this because it's like all people do, you have to sit down. It's always sit down dinner. And you eat, and you eat, and you eat, and you eat. So what do you eat? So like it has to be at least 3 salads. The most popular salad is Russian people call it French salad, Olivier. Americans call it like a Russian salad. And it has like a bunch of ingredients, and you eat like 3 spoons or 5, and then you can't breathe anymore because it has potatoes, eggs, meat, pickles, something else, peas, and blah. So, and then you can breathe, and mayo. So it's very filling. But after that, you think, okay, like, I ate enough. Then there's always vinaigrette. That looks like human flesh cut into, but it's really not. It's beets. So it has onion, carrot, pickles. There's a lot of pickles, and beets cooked, right? Potatoes cooked. Like always, you put some green stuff, parsley, right? Don't do cilantro. It's always parsley, and olive oil mixed together. Looks good. For underage children, don't get it, but it's always you have to serve vodka with that, because I don't drink vodka, but this is a drink of the country. And so like poor people, that's like a daily food. So you have bread, you have to have bread. Most popular vegetables, tomatoes. So then you have green onions because they grow everywhere. Potatoes, and pickles. And so, and there's another super staple food in Russia is sauerkraut. So pickle, sauerkraut, always. Why is that? Do talk. Because it's cold in Russia. Remember the part? It's cold in Russia, and the vegetables and fruit. Unless you're rich. Now you go to the store and buy whatever you want from whatever country. But if you live in the country or you're not making that much money, like you have to use what is cheap, number one, and what is available. So people go and prepare in August for the winter. They buy cabbage and they pickle the cabbage. It lasts forever, right? Pickled stuff lasts forever. So they buy the what's the green thing the pickles come from? Cucumbers. So they buy the cucumbers, they pickle cucumbers. That lasts forever. They buy apples and pickle apples. Have you ever had pickled apple? Yeah, that's a popular thing. I hate that personally, but like people do that. And everything goes with vodka. I'm sorry, but this is how it is. And so small children eat their stuff, and adults always have a drink, because in Russia it's cold. So you have to warm up, because it starts snowing sometimes in November, and it continues until late March. So then we walk around with the t-shirts sometimes, like it's still possibly snowing. So, and people are drinking like a shot of vodka, not because they're alcoholics. There are plenty of this. But it's just because it's cold and they're trying to get warm. So that. And so you have to have 3 salads, and then you have to have at least 1 or 2 entrees if you're entertaining 4 people, 1 entree. So if you're entertaining somebody else, more 10 people, you have to have 2 choices for food. And then you better have 3 or 4 desserts, and they better be good looking. So that's an example. I think this is a duck, right? This is the duck. Does look like a duck. I don't think it's a chicken. And so, but look what it is served with. It's served with fresh apples, right? They served with sauerkraut, right? Is it the end of the hour? Or this is, okay. I talk too much. So, these are pickled apples, and pickled something else, and potatoes, right? You have to have potatoes. American people eat a lot of pasta, right?
Pasta, yay.
So, well, Russians do pasta too, as well, but the main main food is really potatoes, potatoes, potatoes. And now, so that you know, there is Easter. In the United States, those who celebrate the Easter was that Sunday. And while I'm telling you this, because there are rules about what you're supposed to eat for Easter. And so, in Russia, because of the change of calendar, whatever, I'm not going to go into this. And so the Easter is usually like about 1 week after what we have here. And you're supposed to eat the special food for Easter. Like on Thursday, there are rules. You're supposed to make the sweet breads that looks like a fluffy cake. They have to look like this, sprinkled with powdered sugar, with raisin inside, and candied fruit. So it's like carbs with sugar, with carbs, and they're going to kill you. And then you take them to church, and the priest is going to bless them with the bless them. So they're blessed. So you're not allowed to eat them until Sunday morning. Then you take eggs. Do you see they're colored eggs? It's not probably painted. This is probably painted, unless this is some kind of bizarre process. Most people are going to have eggs this color or this color. So this is kind of red, right? So, and this is natural dyes because what you do, what I do, if I care, I go to the grocery store and people stare at me and I try not to care because I'm a mermaid. And so, and I get like yellow onion peel, like about handful, if I want to boil 12 eggs. So just the peel, not red onion, yellow onion peel. And then you drop it into the water with eggs and boil it for 40 minutes. The eggs become that color. Longer you boil, darker they get. So you boil 40 minutes, you get probably like that color. So it's almost brown. So like less boiling, that's going to be more of a red. So it's just very, I tried to use a red onion peel. They were like, I vomited and pooped at the same time. That kind of color egg, so that you don't want to touch. So that. So like anyway, and you're not supposed to theoretically eat them. Like they're 40-minute boiled eggs. That's a little too much for boiling eggs, right? I hope you learned that. But they're just for decoration. So because not everybody has access to paint, right? And like cute like little stickers for the eggs, but everybody can go and get onions. So this is kind of fun to do. You can try just for entertainment. And another Easter food is, it's called Easter, literally. And basically what it is, it tastes kind of like cheesecake, except for it's not baked. So, anybody has been to Mexico? No, like Mexico? No? Nobody's from Mexico? Do you know what queso blanco is? So like this is like that kind of like, you know, taste of you make cheese, you make fresh cheese like out of milk, right? People actually do it at home, right? Because it's not always accessible. So it curd becomes curds. You know what I'm talking about? It's like curds. You strain the curds like for like the few times, and then you take this fresh cheese, freshly made cheese. And for that amount of cheese, you add like stick and a half of butter and about like 1 cup or half a cup of sugar, and beat it together with the mixer. Add a little bit of vanilla, and after that, you might like have like, you know, some kind of coloring, right? But a lot of time it's not. And then add candied fruit and candied something and the raisins, and then you're not allowed to eat it until Sunday morning. You eat it all on Sunday morning. And before that, there's a Lent. You're not supposed to eat like anything. But you know about Lent, right? So, and that's why like you eat like a lot of rich food type of stuff. So, rules like this. Now, how much time do we have?
They have about 15 minutes until lunch.
15 minutes. So, children, do you have questions? Is there something else?
I think you've covered a lot.
I'm not stop.
Do you have any questions for her?
Yes, sir.
You got any kids? And I heard you were talking about a lot of little kids. So
Yes.
how many do you have?
One,
Oh, yeah.
and one is husband's, who went to Shawnee Mission North.
Oh.
So he was exposed to my Russian torture. You see, like, you're not going to eat with your fingers in my house. So if you come to my house, you better know how to use fork and knife. So when I met my husband, so his son was 7 going on 8, I go like, no, we're not going to hold the fork like you're going to stab people to death several times. So like, that's not how you hold the fork and knife, right? Supposed to like hold it like this, the fork in the left hand, knife in the right. You're not supposed to switch. Like, you know, there are rules. And this is how you use with the fork and knife. So like, you're not going to stop the, oh, like terrifying. So like, my brother-in-law is a doctor, he's rich. So he eats like this. I look and judge every single time. I glare. It's horrible to watch. I can't watch that. I can't watch that. Like, you know, this is impossible. And so like, I taught him how to use fork and knife. So, and I saw him doing that in public. That's amazing. I'm the epitome of like evil stepmother. That's here. So my daughter knows how to eat with a fork and knife. Thank goodness. Make good choices, except for carbs. But you see, like here in the United States, the parents-children relationship are different than people do it in Russia. Not that like, you know, children don't like do bizarre things and smoke, drink, and like set the chairs of the classroom on fire in the middle of the class. So that happens occasionally. But then you come home, you're a little bit, you grow up a little bit afraid of the parents because here, like every parent is trying to be friends with children. Your parents are trying to be friends? No? No, so like, right now I'm friends with my daughter. She makes good drinking choices. Then she's in my company. She's of drinking age. But like, you know, then she was growing up. She was respectful. Like, you know, children are supposed to respect their parents and like be slightly afraid. So, like, you know, if the school calls, let's say, like, you know, the parents don't go like, I'm going to sue you, all of you, and you're going to be in the labor camp, like, you know, and your children are going to be in the labor camp, and like, you know, unborn children going to be like dying from like hunger because I'm going to sue you because, oh my God, like you gave my student an F. Fail. So like, we don't do this in Russia, so like, the people have value of education. Even like, you know, the parents don't complain. They're probably going to say like, no choice, no TV, no something, and you're going to be sorry that you did something. That's kind of like this. So, but in the United States, it's a different story. So, right? Am I right? Right? You know, right. So here's everybody want to friend. My husband called his son, hey buddy. I go, buddy? Who's the body? Like you drink with your body, so like your son is not your body, but whatever. I'm from another country, they kick me out of there, so what do I know? I know nothing. Yes, sir.
What's your favorite American food?
My favorite American food is you don't want to know really, but fruit cake. Oh my God, the fruit cake is the freaking best thing ever. I know Americans look down on the, you know, have you had the fruit cake? This is so good. Especially the ones that are a little bit more expensive. So like, oh my God, the fruit cake, the best, the best. I can just start eating, I'll never stop. That. And the barbecue. is nice. We don't have that in Russia. So like we grill things, but it's different. So, and the barbecue sauce, like Kansas City, delicious. No carbs, unless the sauce is carby. And oh, I forgot to tell you, like when you grow up, make sure you try pancakes with caviar, with champagne or vodka. That's like the best Russian food ever. So I know it's very like sounds really bizarre. My husband, who was born in Letha, so he likes pancakes with caviar. I go, what's wrong with you? Stay away from my caviar. And he eats it like then I'm like behind my back. So like I look, half a jar is gone. Ridiculous, right? It's not supposed to like this kind of stuff. More for me. Russian children also don't work. You people are probably all work, right? Have jobs, so don't work, so they sit at home, do the homework because in Russia you don't just go to college, even though colleges you have free, most of the colleges are free, but you have to pass, like you have ACT, then they have like unified exam, and you have to score really high, and then you still have to take entrance exams to university. So if you want to get a higher education, so you have to study a lot, and it's super stressful. So doesn't take 4 hours like you guys have like on ACT. It's so draining. The first time I came to this country, and they said like, you want to be a teacher, go take this test. Are you kidding me? Like, I don't know how, I'm going to just sit in one place for 4.5 hours. This is terrible. And you walk out and your brain, you have like zero brain function. So it's like you're in a coma.
Right.
So it's just terrible. I feel sorry
Right.
for you. I don't like tests. Anything else you want to know? Don't ask, don't tell. It's like works like here. Unless I spontaneously implode because I was quiet for a little bit. Well, come take Russian class with me. So ask, what's your real name? Christine for references. Matanya was in my French class. So I do behave.